Mastery Podcast. This is Scott Tousignant along with Bryan Krahn. Today we are talking volume, training volume, something that kind of came up in our Physique Mastery movement group coaching experience this month, something that we've discussed in previous podcasts, something I've discussed in previous videos, is that we are focusing a little bit more on legs and arms this month. So legs and arms are getting a bit more volume, and the rest of the body parts, chest, back, shoulders, there's a reduced volume for those body parts. And initially, it's very interesting to see the kind of reaction to the members within our community, even my own personal reaction. Because I know when I was first looking at the plan, I was thinking, man, is it enough volume? Are we doing enough for chest, back, and shoulders? And part of it is all because I am a high volume freak. And I think one of my downfalls is that I've just been training at a very high volume for way too long. I'm not someone to cycle through volume. So this has been a very eye-opening experience for me, as well as for many members of our Physique Mastery Movement group coaching experience. So Bryan, let's dive into this topic of training volume, what it is, why it's so hard to kind of really get a grasp of, and why it's important to kind of manipulate it throughout our training year.
Man, well, yeah, volume is probably, along with frequency, it's one of my favorite things to play with for building muscle, plain and simple. It's not as great for strength, but for building muscle size, high volume is where it's at. And those studies certainly support that. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of misunderstood too. Like people are like, well, does that mean I just keep adding sets? And you have to be, in a way, kind of, yeah, like you want to always be. What I like to do is start under a person's typical volume and slowly build it up either on a weekly or some people even go on a monthly basis until you reach that kind of tipping point where they just stop progressing. Mm-hmm. And that's a big, big caveat, because what you want to avoid is something called junk volume. And that's where your performance degrades to a point where you're no longer using a significant, it's about 20 to 25% load reduction. Where basically you're just not performing as well. So if you're doing an exercise, you're using 100 pounds and you're consistently getting, 8 or 9 reps, and then all of a sudden you get 4 or 5 reps, like you're tapped out. Yeah. You've reached, you went one too far, Right. So it's a great tool to play with, but again, it can be abused, and that's where you get these guys you see in the gym and they're just kind of walking around, they're just doing junk set after junk set, and they're not progressing, they're not adding weight, they're not adding reps. Mm-hmm. And that's just, yeah.
Always looking to do more. All right, I still feel okay. I gotta still keep hammering. I gotta keep hammering. Yeah. And it's easy to fall into that trap. And I think especially if you're not seeing much growth, much change, which is kind of, it's natural for those of us who've been training for a long time, that the gains come at a slower rate, and you start you get wrapped up in headlines and articles, and he's like, gain 10 pounds of muscle in a month. You think, fuck, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, how come I'm not growing this fast? Maybe I just have to do more. And as a smaller guy myself, it's very easy to kind of to see those headlines and think, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to keep adding? And I personally, the more, like, this month's little wake-up call really has me thinking, like, maybe what I was doing wrong was trying to do too much for too long, and not giving myself these lower volume opportunities for my body to heal, recover, grow. It's been a very, very eye-opening experience for me, for sure.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. You have to kind of take a bird's eye view of your training all the time and see where you might, where you're leaving, a lot of potential gains on the table, so to speak. Like if you're always chasing high volume, everything kind of stops working.
Right.
And, that's where it's a great opportunity to not, change your frequency, change your volume. Not just, people focus on their exercise. Oh, I'll change my exercise. There's lots of variables you can change.
Right.
But yeah, I like, I love a low volume phase leading into like a fat loss phase, because it's kind of like, it's a little bit more restorative. Like you just, you kind of keep some energy in the tank as you get into this extended phase where you're going to be kind of driving yourself into the ground.
Right.
So that's one thing that works really well. But yeah, that's what we've been trying to do with our particular programming for the group training, is that we had a few high volume phases and people were liking it. And then we flipped the script a bit and we played with the frequency. We greatly dropped the volume. But we also brought up the intensity. We made that, like, intensity meaning work ethic.
Effort.
Not percentage of 1 rep max. But so that's kind of another thing we threw into the mix there.
Lots of learning experiences for sure, and you really get to. That's the fun part about being involved in a group setting. You see the people who are a lot like me, who love high volume. Like, this was awesome. I felt crushed, and just really at the end of the workout, you have nothing left in the muscle, and then you switch to lower volume for certain body parts, because legs and arms, we're still getting a lot of volume in this month's planning. It's spread out a little bit more in frequency throughout the week. But the reaction in some people, like, oh man, like, really? Like, this is all we're doing? And it's it kind of, for some people, it throws them off a little bit. You're so used to being just crushing it and giving it everything you got every single time. But it's been really, really fun to see the learning experience, the learning curve, where all of a sudden they went from, I don't think this is enough, to, all right, I'm going to trust the process. We put our faith in the coach's hands. I'm gonna work this program the way it was designed to be worked. And then after 2 weeks on the plan, they're like, this is freaking awesome. I'm feeling great. Like, the legs and arms, which are getting more volume, are experiencing more of the soreness and the typical kind of stuff that they're used to. But everything else is kind of feeling good. It's feeling fresh, not beat down. And it's suiting them really well. I think the big learning lesson for a lot of us is that although it's lower volume, like chest, back, shoulders are probably only getting about 9 sets per week, which is a little bit below maintenance, that we're used to maintenance level kind of volume for these muscle groups. We really learned to give those sets everything that we've got. I think that's been a really fun part of this experience is really, because I know it's the only exercise that I'm doing for the day. I'm gonna give it everything I got. I'm gonna really focus on that mind muscle connection. I'm gonna make sure I'm at the end of the set. I try to extend it with some partial reps there even, and we're doing rest pause techniques and triple drop sets for some of these exercises. So it different little techniques. Just make sure that you're squeezing every bit that you can from each of those movements, and then it's it. You move on, and it's a good feeling because you get a good sense of accomplishment from that exercise, but it doesn't beat you down at the end as well. So it's been fun. I've again, not only have I not played around with volume on a monthly basis, I'm usually high volume all the time, but I've always kept my volume kind of the same for every body part. So this experience of just kind of priority focus on 2 muscle groups and reducing the focus on all the other muscle groups has been a really eye-opening experience for myself as well as many in the community.
Yeah, and you raise a good point too, is because the program that we did for the group, the volume is a lot lower per workout, but the aggregate, like the weekly volume is still, it's not super low. Like, it's still, we're getting, it's still, like you say, for shoulders, it's around, was it like 10 to 12 sets?
9, 10, something like that. Depending on, like, some of the intensity techniques, the rest pause and the triple drops that can kind of bump up that volume a little bit for it. So it's up there. It's in a decent volume for the week, but the legs and arms, it's up there, man. So
well, and that's that's one thing I hope people kind of take away from this too, if they do try this program out, which I strongly suggest they do, is that you can't do everything at once, and sometimes if you're on the internet and you're looking at what other people are doing, even what other fitness pros are doing, they try to do all these different things at once. They try to do high volume and then have all these intensity techniques, and they have, today I'm doing rest pause and drop sets, and tomorrow I'm doing 100 rep sets, and the next day I'm doing blah blah blah. And I mean, all these little tools work, but they don't. The idea isn't to use them all at once. You have to. There's still some rules, dude, that you have to abide by. And yeah, I mean, what we try to do with our programming is now this is a lower kind of volume approach, but we are using more of these techniques like drop sets, and we're doing 2-second holds. We're doing that, and yeah, we put some ugly stuff into it, but the overall volume is lower. So it's kind of like, we adjust the balance that way.
Right, right, and it's to me, I find it's refreshing. It's invigorating. Yeah. I feel excited about training. I feel like it's not taking up my entire day. It's complementing everything that I'm doing, and it gets me hungry for the increase in volume coming down the road. And definitely it's really, I usually look at my training on a yearly basis to begin with, but a lot of my focus has been on manipulating frequency more than volume, and really trying to play around with the volume a bit more has been a lot of fun and getting excited. Like you said, we are looking at the year kind of planning right now for our training, for what we're doing with our group here, and looking ahead to, I mean, most of us are in a muscle building phase right now, so it's been kind of fun to play around with just hammering volume for 2 months and then dialing back right now for 2 months and focusing on we're focusing on legs and arms this month. Next month probably be chest and shoulders, and then come January a lot of us are going to want to be in fat loss mode for 12 weeks. So kind of manipulating volume there as well, starting a little bit lower and then ramping up that volume towards the end of the fat loss phases. It's exciting to kind of play around with those variables. And I think more than anything, kind of looking at this volume plan right now and really realizing how even with just a low volume, you're getting really, like, doing the 9 sets and everything. Even like the other day, all we did for legs was Romanian deadlifts, 3 sets of Romanian deadlifts, 6 to 8 reps. My hamstrings have been sore for 2 days, and this is the 3rd week on the plan. They've been sore each and every time. Like, shit, that's enough work for my hamstrings. 3 sets of Romanian deadlifts. I mean, it caused enough of an adaptation response that it really has me thinking about volume and the big picture right now, and just getting enough stimulation for these muscles. And I think I've been over worried about not getting enough volume, that I haven't really developed an appreciation for the lower volume work.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's the thing, is just working different things into the overall plan and doing them intelligently, like giving it a fair shot, hitting the targets that matter for that particular phase. Like what's required in this particular phase is a lot more attention to focus, because you only have a couple of cracks at it. Yep. And that last set, I mean, I'm glad you do these videos, because like a lot of people don't understand the level of effort that you want to put into that last set. Like it's not fun. It's everything that you really have. And certainly, and it just wouldn't work in a high volume program. You couldn't train that way in a high volume program. You would drive yourself into the ground and you'd make no progress. So that's why you have to separate these things. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of people make, is they try to do everything at once, and they essentially kind of half-ass it and everything. So this is a much more kind of focused, kind of nuanced approach. So
that's a great point. The half-assing, I find a lot of people kind of, the higher volume plans, they tend to kind of pace themselves. Like the other day, it was for legs, it was just front squats. That's how we started off our workout, was front squats. And I'm thinking, you know what? If this was a regular leg day, and I was doing these front squats, I probably wouldn't be giving it as much effort as I am right now. I'd be thinking, oh fuck, I gotta do lunges next, I gotta do some Romanian deadlifts next. I'm thinking of everything else that's coming along, and kind of, I don't know, if I give everything right now, will I cripple myself before I get to the next exercise? Whereas when you're just focused on one movement, it's just one exercise that you're hitting. I gave it everything. There was actually nervous during my very last rep, and it's a whole different mindset, and it is a focus on quality. And like I say, it really, you don't want junk sets in there. It takes away all that junk. You're giving it everything that you got. Quality reps, nothing left for that muscle group, and then just move on. Whereas compared to, you do the higher volume stuff, there is a tendency to half-ass and get junk reps in at the end, that junk volume that just isn't serving its purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. So yeah, overall, I think looking at a yearly plan for those of you who have been in my shoes and as we're hearing from others in our Physique Mastery movement group coaching experience that just so used to high volume and always just cranking it up there. And yes, the reason volume is it's a big driver for your success and building your physique, but you have to manipulate volume throughout the year. You can't just always give. There's got to be some give and take throughout the year, and so embrace that low volume. It has its purpose. I think going high volume all the time has really held me back, so I'm really looking forward to this next year of training where I'm manipulating volume in addition to manipulating frequency and the other factors that are in there. So always learning, always growing. That's the beauty of this bodybuilding lifestyle. Freaking love it. So thanks for sharing your insights. I think a big takeaway from this also is that get out of your own freaking head. It was great for me to hand over the reins to you this month, and it got me out of my comfort zone and just put my trust in you, got me out of my own head, and it's been an eye-opening experience for me. So I think that's the beauty of, I think that's why we see a lot of coaches hiring coaches, and I know a lot of your coaching clients are coaches themselves as well. It just get in your own head sometimes, and used to your own programming. And even though I have a huge variety of programming in there, it's still a little bit of a creature of habit from time to time. So this got me outside of my comfort zone, trying something new, and I'm really benefiting from the experience, as is everyone else in our group there. So thanks, Bryan, and thanks everyone else for joining us today. Hope you got some takeaways from this, but more than anything, manipulate your volume throughout the year. Don't crush it all the freaking time. It's very easy to get caught up in there, especially if you're watching other YouTube videos and you're seeing all your favorite pros crushing it in all their videos. They are going through a cycled approach as well. You're just not seeing that. Typically the low volume times are not where people are pulling the cameras around and showing a lot of that stuff off, unless they're giving quality reps like that we've been doing this month and really giving her for each of those exercises.
Yep.
All right, man. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for joining us today. PhysiqueMasteryMovement.com. See you later.
Boom.